Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. It is story time today, and me and my sister have some really funny, embarrassing
and
stories
tragic
to tell you.
story.
Yes.
One tragic, one embarrassing. So 2 stories for you.
Yes. So we'll go ahead and start off with my story. I always laugh at this story with my sister Jessie, but at the moment it was not actually.
It was not embarrassing.
It
was not funny.
Yeah, we should have not laughed. I mean, right now I shouldn't laugh at it, but it's funny now that you think about it. So we went to Tecate, which is in Baja, California, and we stayed over there for about 3 days. So my family took out quads and bikes to take down there so we can kind of get entertained. And I love being adventurous, and like Jessie didn't want to drive the quad, so I was like, oh, I'll drive it. And me and my sister were gonna go out and drive around the area because they'll let you drive around that section. And my cousin wanted to join us, so she went ahead and joined us, and we were going everywhere. And I'm not the person to like hit the gas, you know. I like to drive safely. And there was, okay, so I was driving back to our house, and there is like this kind of curve that we take. So I saw the curve and I kind of slowed down, but at the same time I didn't slow down. Like, I wasn't going super fast, but
And in that curve, remember, there's a bunch of water.
yeah, there was a big puddle. So I told Jess, I think they were so excited, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna splash them with the water so I won't go like super slow. So I hit a little bit of the gas, but what I didn't know that underneath that puddle there was a big old hole. So
yeah, you just thought it was like maybe a little water on top, but no, it was like, it went pretty
there was
steep,
like a hole. Like,
and I noticed she was going super fast, and I think at a point, like I told you, I'm like, oh my god, slow down, but we're going so fast I don't think she heard me. And obviously I wasn't the only one that thought we were going too fast. You really were going too fast.
no, but I wasn't. I was going fast in the straightway, because
I
that
think
I
you
didn't
pushed
get
the
scared.
gas though. You still hit the gas when we were doing the turn.
Yeah,
That's where it went bad.
I completely slowed down, and then once the curb got there, I was like, I'm gonna step on the gas a little bit just so it can like squirt water and it would get us wet a little bit.
Yeah.
So as I was getting up to that, I went ahead and I stepped on the gas, and I honestly didn't think that it was that hard, but we ended up flipping with the puddle and the hole. We flipped, and like, oh my god, ew. All I remember is waking up on the ground. Like, my whole face was on the dirt. I was wet, and then I turned like, this is flashbacks. Okay, so like I opened my eyes, right? And obviously first I see Jessie on the other side of me, and she was like not conscious because she was on the floor.
Oh yeah.
And I think at the same time that
and I
woke
was
up,
the best one, like in the best condition out of all 3. No, you were, and then our cousin was like in the worst condition.
yeah, so I wake up and I see Jessie on the floor, and we were both on dirt. Like, our whole face was wet with mud and dirt, and it was bad. And then I look at Jessie and I'm like, okay, well, at least she's like okay, she's alive. And then I turn around to look, and like the quad was completely flipped. I was like, oh my god, where's our cousin? So I started looking everywhere for her, and I couldn't find her. And I'm like, Jessie, our cousin, where is she? And all of a sudden, guys, like, she emerges from underneath the quad. I don't even know how that happened. She came out crawling out of the quad, and I felt so horrible. Like,
So bad.
there was a moment inside where I was just like, what the hell did I just do? Like, I put everyone's life in danger, not just mine, but my sister and
Wait,
my
did
cousins.
you ever tell the shoe part?
No, because that's
Okay.
after. Okay, so that she emerged out of the quad, and then all of a sudden, like, we go run over there, and we're like, are you okay? And she's like, what happened? And I was like, I guess we flipped. I don't know exactly like what happened, because I know that I wasn't going super horrible in speed, but later on we found out that there was actually a huge hole that I guess the tire kind of got stuck, and then that's what made us kind of flip, and the speed. I don't know, it was just all a factor to it. And our cousin, at that moment, she was saying like, oh my god, like I can't feel my ribs, or I don't know what she was saying. Not that she couldn't feel her ribs, she just said that she didn't feel good.
She said that her ribs were hurting, like that area around there was in pain, and her back.
And I feel horrible because I was just like, oh my god, I broke her ribs. Like,
she's
what
super
if
petite, like,
yeah. And I was like, what if she's like bleeding internally? Like, I can't live with myself like this. So like, Jessie was fine. Yeah, she was scraped. They were actually both scraped, and
a couple of bruises.
Nothing
too big.
I didn't at the moment see anything on myself because I don't think that I was thinking about myself. I was just making sure that they were fine. And since my cousin was like, she was not in very good condition, so I was just like, I'm gonna see if I can go run run to the house to go get help. And at that, okay, so before I went running, we noticed that my cousin didn't have a shoe.
She only had one shoe on.
We were looking everywhere for her freaking shoe, and we didn't find it. So like,
and it's like those really like tiny shoes.
Like
it's
the little
like,
slip-on tiny shoes.
Yeah, I don't even consider it like a shoe. It's like a slip-on, but they have like the little fake shoelaces as if you wanted to tie your shoelaces, but you can't. And yeah, so it was. Did you already say that we found it or no? It was like super far away. I don't know how her shoe went like flying all the way over there. It was probably like what, 15-20 feet from where we were.
Yeah, around there,
pretty
because
far.
I told them, I'm like, Jessie, stay with our cousin because like I don't want anything to happen to her, and I'm gonna go ahead and like run to the house. So I was running, and at that time I didn't feel anything going on with me. Like I was just trying to be a trooper and get to the house, get
before
help.
It got dark, so it was almost gonna be nighttime.
Yeah, I was running and it was basically getting dark, and for me it seemed like such a long distance. And like as I was running, I found her shoe on the side, and I felt so bad, but it made me laugh. And at the same time I felt so bad because it was just a reminder of what had happened. So I got to the house and we go get help, and then we get in the truck, we go get the quad and Jessie and our cousin. And at the end of the day, I guess I was the most scraped. Like my leg was bleeding. I scraped it really bad, one of my legs, and then my sides were really scraped. And our cousin ended up having completely nothing. She didn't get scraped. She just probably drank a lot of nasty, disgusting water.
I think she was in shock. She was very scared.
Yeah.
I think that's what freaked her out the most.
At the moment, it was just, we were so sad.
That was the last time she got in the quad with us, too.
Yeah, I actually have not ridden the quad ever since that.
Oh yeah, that was our last time.
Yeah, because I get scared a little bit. Like I guess it was kind of traumatic in a way, but to think back at it, like sometimes I'll just laugh because it was just funny how my cousin crawled out of like underneath the quad. But at the moment it was very scary, and it was very tragic because I thought to myself, I could have killed them, and I could have killed myself because
we're starting to look very orange.
because we literally, like, there was rocks everywhere. So I mean, if you land your head on a rock, you can easily get a concussion. If anything, like, you can even die. Like, you just never know.
Yeah.
And that was my story time, that I almost basically killed myself and my sister and my cousin. I know. I have not ridden a quad anymore, and trust me, if I do, I will not go over a certain speed because you don't mess around with quads. They're huge.
And they can be very dangerous.
And they can be very dangerous, but they are very fun. Just slow down on curves is all I'm gonna tell you. Okay.
And make sure you wear a helmet.
Oh yes, and we actually were not wearing helmets, so it's very important for you to be wearing helmets. I was thinking that we would just take a little stroll, but it ended up being a little bit longer than a stroll, and yeah.
Yeah.
But so, that was my story to tell you guys a little bit about us. Now it's Jessie's turn.
Yeah. Okay, so the other story also includes Jackie in it too, and this actually happened when I was like 4, 5 max, but I think I was about 4 because I remember I was really small, and Jackie, you must have been like 7 or 8. No, like 7. I don't think you were 8 yet.
Yeah, like probably turning 7 around there.
Yeah. Okay, so getting on with the story. in that stage, like between 4 and when my sister was 7, we had this thing that we would go to the bathroom together. I think it made us feel more comfortable, like we would talk or like play while we would use the bathroom. I know that sounds gross, but when you're little you just do weird stuff like that. And there was this thing that if we had to like pee or poop, we would sit on the toilet, but it would be like half the toilet would be hers,
Ew,
and the
how
other
did we
half of the
even make
toilet.
that?
We were so small that we would fit.
Yeah.
So like we would do that, and now that I think about it, I'm like, what the hell were we thinking?
Yeah.
But anyway, one time you had to use the toilet, and I had to use it too, and for some reason that time we didn't want to share it, but we wanted to use the bathroom at the same time. So I remember you told me, you were like, no, I'm gonna use the toilet this time, like you can go to the bathtub. And I was like, okay. And I thought I only had to pee, so like I went to the bathtub, and you know, like I was like half my legs are out, only my butt was on the bathtub area. And
Wait, that's not. Is that where it's gonna happen?
yeah, in the tub.
Oh.
Well, this is how I remember it, and it happened to me, remember. So I remember I was in the bathtub, and then I thought I only had to pee, and it turns out that I had to poop, and I ended up pooping in the bathtub. Oh, that was so bad.
For some reason, I thought it was the trash can.
Trash can? No, it was the
Oh.
bathtub. It was really, if it was a
Yeah,
trash
only
can,
you
like
know exactly what happened. I remember that it
no,
either
it was the bathtub. I
happened
remember.
not in the toilet.
Yeah, no, it was not the toilet. So it was the bathtub. And then at that time, we lived with our aunt too. And I think she was taking care of us that day. Our mom wasn't home. And anyway, Jackie and I were done doing our business, so we left the bathroom. I obviously left my shit on the toilet. And
In the tub.
Oh yeah, in the tub. Sorry, like my head's everywhere.
We didn't
In
even
the
clean it up
tub.
or nothing.
Yeah,
Obviously.
I'm
We're
sure
too
Jackie
small.
flushed the toilet. Obviously, I couldn't do anything about the tub. So then, my aunt came, and she noticed obviously what had happened, and I think she pulled us aside, huh?
Yeah.
Like you and I.
I think she was suspicious about us because
I think she knew it was
Jesse,
me because I was the youngest.
Because I remember me and Jesse would go into the restroom, and either me or Jesse would flip-flop. Sometimes I would pee in the bathtub,
That is
and
so
sometimes
true.
I think I maybe even peed on the freaking sink. So
We would take turns. I had forgotten about
And the
that.
trash
We'd either
can, too.
share, or maybe that's
We-
when I was like a tiny bit younger and I don't remember that part.
oh, the trash can? It
Yeah.
happened there.
I don't
think
remember
that's
that
the reason
part.
that my aunt was very suspicious, and she's just like, oh my god, I'm over them doing this. I gotta tell them and like get down to the core, because
Who's
I
the
felt like
shitter?
we got interrogated when we got out of the bathroom, kind of like my aunt was literally waiting for us there. So she was
probably
probably just
did.
watching us, and she was just like, I think she took us to the side, and she went inside the bathroom and checked, and it was probably the worst one out of all of them, because
Yeah.
I don't remember that we would do that frequently, poop in the tub. I know that we would
I
pee
think that
in the
was
tub.
the first time
first
actually
and
like
last
pooping.
time.
Yeah, first and last time.
And I'll let you go back with
Because
the
I think
part of-
I would pee maybe in the tub and the sink, but it was just pee, so that's still gross, but it's not as bad as a poop. But what part was I? Oh yeah, that my aunt pulled us aside, and I think you might have said like, it was Jessie, because when you're little, like obviously you pointed out. So I think you said that, and then my aunt took me to the side and like, she was like, don't do that. And my aunt is like the sweetest person. Like with us, she's always so sweet. She's really nice. And so for me to have like gotten little, like, what do you call that? Like,
scolded at.
yeah,
It's
scolded
because
at,
we had her
I
like
felt so
to the
bad.
fullest.
And I think
She
I
was
cried,
done.
and I still remember that now. I was so sad. But
we
yeah,
were
that's my embarrassing
troublemakers.
story.
Honestly, like I feel like
It's just that we're so close to age, so we would do like a lot of, not even troublemakers, but just weird shit.
well, I feel like out of me and you, I grew up for the long, like me and Jesse are 3 years apart, so I grew up for a very long time just me hanging out with my two brothers, because my sister at that moment was a little bit older and she was into different things. But me and my brothers are about 4 and 5 years apart. So when Jesse was small, too small to even play, like I would go out with the boys, I would steal their skates and go skating.
And you were a tomboy. I was
Yeah,
never
I went through a phase where I was a tomboy, but because I think that like everything that my brothers would do, I would want to do. And then when Jesse was old enough to kind of like hang out with me, and I got back to playing like with Barbies and stuff, like that was the moment where I kind of still had that little daredevilish part of hanging with the boys, and then I would kind of influence Jesse on doing things, because I'm pretty sure that it was me who was telling Jesse like pee over there, or do this or do that, being all bossy because I was older.
Yeah,
and
and
Jesse was just
listen.
kind of like doing whatever I would say. But I do remember that vividly, because I remember she did her thing. Either like I kind of remember the trash can, but I think that's when we peed in there. But it was in the, and then my poor aunt had to clean it up, so that's why she was probably over it, like finding piss and like poop everywhere. So I feel so bad.
Yeah.
We should remind her next time that we see her.
I'm too embarrassed.
That would be actually pretty
Yeah.
embarrassing. And another thing that would happen to us is that for some reason, I don't know why, I felt lonely when I would go to the bathroom. So I'd be like, Jessie, Jessie, when I would have to go poop. So I was pooping, and Jessie would be on the side of the door, and we would be writing notes to each other or drawing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's freaking, if
That's
you think about it, it's
embarrassing.
so disgusting. Like, why? How are you even writing stuff when you are pooping? But you know how you go through that little stage where you poop? Well, for me, or not even for me, I feel like everyone kind of goes through that. We just kind of poop and take a while, and that's why I would just tell Jesse to come over and keep me company.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is our 2 story time little
Yeah.
stories.
Thank you
We
for
hope
watching,
that you enjoyed it
guys.
and get to know us a
We'll
little
bring up
bit more.
more story times with things that are probably like more juicy and interesting now that we're older. This is just kind of what we wanted to start off with. So we'll definitely be bringing in more stories and kind of letting you guys hear about our embarrassing life incidents.
All right, we'll
Okay.
see you until next time. Thank
Bye.
you.